Right. First off, all I gotta say is I will no longer be singing in this podcast until the end. That's the first thing we're about to change about this podcast. No, not you don't have to clap like that because I know you're gonna do a whole praise break. Yeah. Somebody listened to the podcast. I was on my team, and they're like, "Yeah, every time you sing, it makes me cringe," and I'm like, "Yeah, thank you so much."
And
Uh,
that's okay, because you be feeling it, and that just be what it be.
and you know what? I don't hit all I'm surprised I hit all the music points when it came to your birthday. I
Okay.
was really surprised. I think we both were surprised. That was a gift to you. I actually started hitting notes.
No, indeed.
But I think from now on, if I'm going to sing, I'm going to sing at the end of the podcast. So if
Right.
you are somebody who likes hearing me sing, God bless you.
You are that dedicated of a listener to this podcast, you will
Look,
make it to the very end
wait
to
till
have to hear
the
that,
wait till the very, very end.
Wait till the end,
Or
okay?
wait
The
till we
very
start
end.
opening bottles of wine again. that
Okay,
that's what we
remember those
really.
days.
They may have to bring them back. They may make appearance this summer. I think I'm gonna get my subscription wine uh box again. So yeah, we're gonna work on the quality of these episodes, but we're gonna go back to bringing those up. But as we bring stuff back, welcome back to the other Southerners podcast because the tea ain't sweet.
It ain't Southern, baby.
It ain't Southern, baby. Hey, I know we took a long hiatus from you all. And guess what?
Yeah.
It's okay. We got some things going on. There was celebrations. There was illness. But you know what? We needed it. And now I'm back with the fresh cut. And then y'all see Makai out here rocking the afro.
You
I'm
know.
wondering, hey, it's giving bring it on, but the best bring it on, okay?
Hey, hey.
I'm like,
Okay.
I'm trying to be your cheerleader. I'm trying to pick
Okay.
you. I'm trying to pick you up and put you on the pyramid, please.
Baby, because don't I look like I'm ready to be like somebody's like athlete with the fro, with the little
Not all
like,
you
oh, you
cheer.
on, I'm ready to be, oh, you cheer,
You
okay?
prom.
I want to be the, what's it called? You remember on Glee, Sue Sylvester? I want to be the Sue Sylvester for Oh, You Cheer.
Sylvester, nice, nice,
That's what I
nice.
want to be.
Go, give me a go, Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, because they love that, okay?
For those of you who don't know, we both went to the University of Oklahoma. He has two.
Yay.
Makai, the Dallas Diamond, has 2 degrees. Okay, two of them. Count them back to back. All right,
Okay.
don't backtrack because we went back to back at 2 degrees paid for them. Okay, and I only did
Yeah.
one, but I'm proud of you still.
Thank you.
I'm still singing the shows. But tell me about yourself, okay? Tell me about the Dallas Diamond and this Dallas Heat you giving in the background with this greenery.
I don't really have a super exciting answer for it. I mean, it's just right now we just, doing the Dallas thing under a lot of pressure still. I think if anything, the diamond has returned to the place of pressure. We'll say that. Yeah.
Hey,
Place where, carbon was created to be, full of the imperfections that make the diamonds, as flawed but as priceless and valuable as they are. So I guess if anything, the diamond is just, it's adding more crystals to the collection right now. That's what we'll say.
exactly. And more clarity.
More
More
clarity, more
clarity.
clarity. Yeah.
Exactly. All I do want to say is this Dallas Diamond is a year older officially. Another round around the sun. So I did have agreed no longer to send this podcast till the end. So you gotta wait for me to give you your full happy birthday cheer till the end. But don't worry,
Mm.
I'm putting notes to be like sing it.
Girl, it's okay. The birthday is what? A month in some now? Look, it's not my
No.
birthday anymore. We are officially in a whole, not even another zodiac. We're officially in the zodiac after that. Like we're not even in Aries anymore. We're in Taurus now.
Yeah. Wait, I thought you were Gemini.
Blech. How would I be a Gemini and my birthday is all the way in
No,
March?
no, not
Make it make
Gemini.
sense. A
Uh,
Pisces.
Pisces, yes.
Pisces ends the zodiac, and then spring starts with Aries, and that's the new zodiac season. And then we just got out of Aries. We just had our new moon, I think, yesterday. Yes.
Yeah,
Last night
because
was our new
it is
moon.
tonight.
Yes, the 20th. Yeah. So our new moon was yesterday, and now we are officially in the sign of Taurus. So we went from the head, and we are now in the neck.
Yeah. And y'all know my Taurus is in Moon, and my cousin is also a Taurus. So yeah. But shout out to all my Aries. Happy birthday.
Happy late birthday to the Aries.
Happy late birthday to the Pisces. It's
Of
okay. We're gonna sing your
course.
happy birthday at the end. Don't worry about it. If you want to hear your
We
happy
don't.
birthday jingle, wait till the
Mm-mm.
end. Wait till
Baby, and it's
the
gonna be
end.
for all of our listeners in the future. If you want to hear happy birthday jingle, come back to this episode because we will not be doing that every month. That will not be happening.
No, every month. I think we're good. Every month we're doing a podcast. March we didn't do a podcast because me and you were both like, look,
Right,
I ain't got it in me. I was battling COVID and you was just celebrating your birthday. And I said, look.
right.
So be thankful.
Okay.
Because guess what? This podcast is the first sponsored podcast we've ever had. So shout out to
Oh,
those first sponsors.
period.
Let me pull them up on Instagram right quick. Cause yeah, we getting sponsored out here, y'all. So
Okay, period.
get hey, if you want to sponsor us,
Please let us know.
this is the
But
time.
also contact Jamila. Don't contact me because I don't handle the business.
I do.
Baby, you will be in them you will be in them DMs and them unread messages
What?
for months. Okay.
Why did yeah, because you messaged Makai. You messaged Makai. Message me, Southern Heat.
Okay.
At Maverick_PLE. That's at
That part.
_PLE on all socials. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yes, today's episode is sponsored by Seventh Wave LLC, located in Humboldt County, California. It's also in the Bay Area. They are a licensed manufacturing, distribution, and delivery California statewide of cannabis. So yes, we are a cannabis sponsor, y'all, because we believe that you should use your cannabis as legally as possible, but also
Okay.
everybody who has cannabis felony as well. Because if you're gonna legalize it, take people out of jail, or especially Black and brown people, and then
Okay.
get off their record, and then employ us in the cannabis industry because we created it. They are some legacy cannabis owners, minority owned in the Bay Area, and they have this amazing product called 4Gs because if you used cannabis before it was legal, I'm not saying I did, but I know some friends who did. If you went to your dealer often, your dealer cared about you, they'll give you 3.5 Gs. You know how much they gave you?
How much
Oh,
they give you, Jamila?
4Gs. And they have a product just like that because they care about you and they know how cannabis works. So please make sure you hit up Seventh Wave LLC, Seventh Wave California in Humboldt County. It's a licensed manufacturing, distributing, and delivery California statewide. Thank you all for sponsoring us. So yeah, now back to the show because yesterday was 420.
Yes, it
For those
was.
who don't know, I do live in Chicago now, born and raised in Houston, but now live in Chicago. And let me tell you, y'all was smoking that herb, okay? I don't smoke, but y'all was smoking that herb. I smoked it a lot. And so all I have to say for y'all who smoked, I hope y'all ate well. I hope all y'all ate well because I can smell it. So yeah, happy 420 to those who celebrate. Make sure you partake legally. Don't get high and dry, but I know y'all still do it anyway.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
So
drink some lemon water. Clear out that mucus in them lungs.
look, cause some of y'all was
Baby, it's the way that I heard something. I'm granted because obviously, like, even with 420 being 420, people still celebrate it across the nation, whether it's, legalized or criminalized in their area. But the fact is, like, I'm literally like, of course, same moment I'm smelling like, you're driving down the highway and all you do is like you're smelling wee. Like everybody is smoking. And like this is on the highway. So people have to be smoking this in their car while they're on the highway.
it's just smoke popping out. You think
Like,
it's
yeah, smoke coming out of
radiator going off.
sunroofs. Yeah, it's all types of stuff. Like it looks crazy. No, literally, it was this one car and it was smoke coming out the like the back of the car, and it looked like it was exhaust pipes coming out. But I think it was just because their trunk was like cracked open and it was literally like smoke leaking out that way. Like, baby, when I say they were
Whoa,
gassing,
you hot boxing.
hot boxing, baby.
Look, I think it's a different
Mm-mm.
type of sport. Now, I'm not saying, in Texas it's legal. I know it's
Right.
decriminalized in Austin, Houston, Dallas, maybe in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
But some of y'all be hot boxing these hoopties. These hoopties are barely holding on. I I ain't gonna look at nobody. I'm just gonna look at this camera right here. Some of y'all be hot boxing these hoopties. This is your grandma, me, my car. She didn't hand it to you 5 times. Ain't got no license or registration. Riding hot. Not only are you riding hot, because I know y'all ain't got no AC, ain't no airflow in that car. Y'all have decided in the middle of this hell of a summer we call Texas summer heat. All right. And I'm Southern heat, so I know about the heat. Even in Georgia, too, y'all have decided to hotbox this hoopty
Mm-hmm.
On a spare wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I that's a different type of sport because I know. And then people be like, don't choke, don't cough. I can't tell if the smoke in this car is from the engine or from all this weed you smoking in here. I think that's a different type of sport. That's a different type of health risk. I just want
All
better.
I'm gonna say is I am a different and a better me today, but back then,
I'm not gonna say nothing.
all I'm gonna say is no comment.
The
Because
traumas of our community. What
I'm a
happened?
different and better me today. Hmm.
Your air filter wants a break.
Oh, baby. And every time you go to the dealer, the what is it, the car people? I mean the tire people, and they try to check all that, like what is Jiffy Lube and all them tire places, they try to check your air filter. Don't. I don't care. I
Mm-mm,
don't care. Don't look at
mm-mm.
it. I don't
Y'all
want to replace.
should. Y'all probably find some little nuggets up in there.
Anyway, still talking about 420. I think it's ridiculous that have you heard Wingstop? Like Wingstop, like the fact that so much of their brand is like centering around weed, so much to a point where they have like a special meal available up
Them and
until the
Taco Bell.
23rd. Taco Bell is like that too. Yes, I have been seeing those too. But like they have like Wingstop has a hot box. Like you can buy like I think it's like 8 pieces of chicken, three tenders or a sandwich with the fries that they give you. And it's like the whole specialty of it is like they hot box. So it's like covered in like some type of spicy dry cheese powder or whatever. And then they drizzle it with lit ranch, which is ranch in their atomic seasoning, the super hot one. So it's like spicy ranch on top of this, and then like I say, shake it up. And they put that on top of the wings, and they put it on top of the fries, and of course you get the side with like the dip and the drink on the side too. And I'm like, so much to a point where our marketing teams and our branding is like entertaining 420 when this also was a like drug that like you said like was criminalized so much to the point where it was like ravaging communities and like separating homes. But
I,
America, privatization, when we find a way to make some money, we don't care about the history of
once it
what
was
happened
okay
here.
for Kyle to smoke weed, everybody's like, "Oh, I love doing it."
Oh, that's the gag. Kyle was always okay to smoke weed. It was just after we stopped criminalizing hippies, it was like, okay, now Kyle can smoke
But
weed and
Will
still be an
John
American.
John was doing it with his Hispanic friends.
Oh,
It's
baby,
a
it was nothing
problem.
patriotic about it. Absolutely.
I will always Cat Williams made a great joke, but he was like, I never smoke with white people because they will do some different shit to the weed, like wax and like all like they put weed in everything. Like
Yeah.
they season their food with weed. I'm like, please use real seasoning. But y'all decide to season y'all food with weed. And
I mean, hey,
I
I
always say
evolution.
I'm gonna stand on my social justice bag and say this. As much as I encourage the cannabis industry, like again, we're sponsored today by a cannabis supplier.
Absolutely.
I will also say this. One, our cannabis supplier is minority owned, which is very few and far between, which is very hard to do. The cannabis industry is getting monopolized as we speak, but not only
Right.
even Joe Biden, y'all kind of slow playing with these drug charges and getting them dismissed. And I really am not for it. Because here's the thing, if y'all gonna criminalize us, demonize us for making the industry, I seen Narcos. I've seen the studies, and then turn around and invest in it. Like you can invest in weed in the stock market. You know how I know this? Because I have weed stocks. I have
Hmm.
cannabis stocks. You have people like Anheuser-Busch, alcohol distributors looking at ways to put weed and alcohol together to distribute in legal areas. Y'all trying to figure out ways for JP Morgan, Capital One, and other banks to accept weed. This is crazy. And you are holding black and brown people in jail. For I'm talking about people are in jail for grams. Grams. Not
Absolutely.
pounds, grams.
Grams. Absolutely.
You know people have lost their careers
Absolutely.
for a joint?
Lost their opportunity at a actual life. Yeah. Right.
All I gotta say is if y'all wanna smoke that weed, cool. But free my people while y'all smoking that weed. Smoke for free and free my people. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Enjoy your 420. But on this podcast, we about liberation. If you're
Okay.
just so yeah. But I will say one thing.
What
I've
is
seen a
that?
lot of people have a fall off from weed, but I have never seen a fall off. Like I've seen Jonathan Majors fall off. after these abuse allegations. I mean, I've never seen somebody fall so hard in my life, and rightfully so. And that's how we should treat all abusers, shall I say? And dare I say, hear me out. If he had abused a black woman, his fall off would be different. I'm gonna say it. If he wasn't abusing white women, his fall off would be different. And then still watching you niggas try to defend him, like, oh, they stand up a black man. I'm like, nah, bro. I saw those text messages. Like when his lawyer was like, look, like she even says like this was her fault. And I'm like, that's textbook domestic abuse. That's textbook. But this is the example they show in the textbook when they say
Right.
the signs of domestic abuse, the language, the rhetoric. I was like, bro, anybody who understands what domestic abuse is sees that. And it's not like,
It was bad, yeah. It's bad. I can't really defend it. I just, if anything, I mean, of course, I'm glad that like, things are happening the way that they should. I'll just be very interested to see how does our generation specifically continue to handle things the way that we say is the just way to handle it. And the only reason I say this is because it's to me, and I'm gonna always just live in that moment of just like looking at how things are treated, when there's similar situations. And of course, this isn't nearly as similar as this, but I feel like it's more heinous in the moment that Jonathan Majors, he had this moment of abuse and we were so quickly to cut him off, cancel him. We can't literally like even think of this boy without somebody like wanting to get into a tit for tat to talk about it now. But it was also in that same moment of being like, I was walking past the park today, or not today, yesterday, after I got done flying kites and everything. And I
you
hear
like
kids.
nice.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, it's one of them. Like I had tried to hide the package or whatever a second ago.
We're gonna start.
But yeah, so I was outside flying kites and I was walking past the park, and of course the adults out there with their children, pushing them on the swings, and the kids are singing, "I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Think about it every night and day." I mean, they hitting it like, "I believe I can fly." Like these are kids going at the full. I'm like, so we haven't got to a point in our culture where we have stopped listening to R. Kelly, regardless of whatever motivation the song is supposed to provide. Like, we
I,
still excuse R. Kelly and the fact that we have children singing this song still. And then, we still support R. Kelly even through everything that he's done. We still support him and give him a lead and a little foot in the door. And Jonathan Majors, was just like kicked to the shoe on a boot. Which I don't even know. Has he even said anything about it? Like, has he tried to have some type of like apology or something like
okay, so with Jonathan Majors, here's the thing. They announced it,
that? Mm-hmm.
and he's been dropped by his management and his PR team. And I'm not talking about like, oh, like he had a manager. He has a management team. Like
Mm-hmm.
imagine like white celebrity management PR team. And like they waited a while. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like a TikToker like talked about this. But
The
it's not
PR
that
black
bad.
girl that was talking about how like she works in PR, and she's like, if they had to drop him, they're like, it must have been real serious shit that they could not come back. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm like, there's NFL players all the time accused of abuse. All the time. All the time. NFL players, OU players, quite literally. Like there's a lot of men who are accused of abuse.
Right, right.
But the way, like, for a PR team to say, for Olivia Pope to basically be like, I can't fix you. Do you know how bad that has to be? When your whole
But
team says, actually, Huck, Olivia Pope, Quinn, all of them said, actually, there is nothing in our power that can fix this. You are fucked. And
right.
actually, it's so bad. You got to find somebody else. We wish you well, sir. This man was dropped from Disney. Disney's looking at John Boyega. I was like, y'all just find another black man to fill his role. The National Guard. I'm like, not the army saying publicly we're against abuse. Like the army, the epitome of abuse against women, says no, we're not gonna. Like, have you seen the advertisements for Creed 3? It's just uh Michael B.
Michael B. Yeah.
They're like when I say this man is disappearing so fast off of everything, I said, here's the thing. When it comes to R. Kelly, because he abused black women, that And it's even the same rhetoric being used like against Megan, right? Like that's a black man that you're tearing down XYZ. I find it really hard. Like, I remember in college, somebody was like, "You hate black men," and I'm like, "Do I, or do I just hate men?" And I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like, "Why do I have so many like gay male friends?" And I'm like, "It's probably because I hate men too."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I hate men. I just hold y'all to the standard y'all should be held to.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have like male friends and my friends are like, "Hey, like you have male friends," I'm like, "Yeah," but I'm also holding them to a standard that is to which all men should be held to. And I have
Mm-hmm.
very few male friends, so that should tell you the information you should know. But
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, if we held men to an actual standard, right, there'll be actually a lot of men we don't tolerate. And within the black community, it's a problem well documented. Like I don't know how many bell hooks, Audre Lorde, James Baldwin.
Right, right,
I don't know how. There's so many books by black feminists. There's so many books by black well thinkers that it's like, how many times do we have to say as black women or black people who don't identify as men that you are the problem? And can we admit that yes, white supremacy plays a role? Yes, because they made you feel insecure. I'll admit that. But at the same time, I'm not about to save Kanye when he's openly against black people. I'm not about to save every black man who falls into trouble because at the same
mm-hmm.
time, you are my oppressor. Why there's only how can I save you while you're trying to kill me?
Right. That
That's
makes
that's
sense.
quite literally the question I have is like, yes, I want to support black men. Of course. I will like always support black people. But I'm not about to openly support you or support you, period, if you literally try to kill me or deny my identity. Like,
Right,
what am I supposed
right.
to do with that? I'm supposed to say my killer?
That
That's
makes sense.
and you know, I say that quote and I'm like, say my killer. And I think about all the black women who have been abused. Like I forgot
Mm-hmm.
who it was. It may have been Angela Bassett or Viola Davis. It was some popular like actress. And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, yeah, I've been like assaulted, like sexually assaulted in the industry, but I'm not gonna name my person. And without a doubt, like even with Freaknik coming out, right? Like this Freaknik documentary,
Mm-hmm.
are so embarrassed to talk about their sexual assault. While y'all uncles, daddies, and grandpappies is talking about, yeah, we had a great time. And it's like we literally have an iota on film admitting that they're a sexual predator. Like you have so much pride in disrespecting black women bodies. I don't remember what Black Panther was, but they took so much pride in disrespecting black women. And it's like, I'm not gonna apologize for being one of the few black women who are like, actually, fuck y'all. Like, do I want you to die at police hands? No. But I'll tell you one thing, I don't want to die at your hands either. So either
Right,
fuck you, like I wish you well, but also fuck you.
right. Um, Definitely. I think if anything, I'm like you. I have not a problem with men per se. Like it's not like I'm upset with all men. I think if anything, especially just in my experiences, like a femme queer black man, it's
Yeah,
been very like I'm more upset and I'm a more I guess holding men accountable for how they choose to express their manhood under the patriarchy, because the patriarchy teaches us so many toxic things about what masculinity and manhood is supposed to become for boys and men, especially
yeah,
black men or black boys becoming black men. And I think that because the patriarchy teaches us so much of the toxic things, that speaking on black men and our community, we've internalized so much of this and created it to be what we consider our manhood.
yeah,
And in order to actually like unpack that ethically, with actually like sound mind, we have to acknowledge that the patriarchy also has contributed to things like we say sexism, white supremacy, racism in that moment too. But I just think that it's just too much cognitive dissonance for people to accept that. Just to get to that point of like, at least for men, too much cognitive dissonance to accept that like, what I've learned to be a man has nothing to do with being a man, but more about just forcing me to feel like I have some type of power and dominance over people, even though there's no justification for me to have that outside of my penis and my masculinity or my manhood. And I think that that's well, why we see so much, disrespect of women, black women in society, because it excuses that and it's almost using like the treatment, that negative treatment of Black women as a moment to kind of like show off their power and dominance. But you know, what power and dominance are you really displaying if you can do that to the most oppressed class of person, you know, in society? Like you're not really
Yeah.
doing so. If you want to oppress, if you really want to do some damage, nigga, man, go do it to the white man. Like you'll really do some damage with that one. But at least on specifically Jonathan Majors, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too familiar. You know, I don't keep up with celebrity news because I think it's all just a distraction from what's really going on anyway.
I
Um,
agree.
but I think the Jonathan Majors, I think the PR team, is it alarming that they did him like that? Yes, I think it's definitely telling of like, you know, them not wanting to get their hands dirty with it. But I don't think that it's, and I'm not, that's like, again, I'm not familiar with the story. So if it is worse than what I imagine, correct me and, you know, give me grace in that. But I'm not saying like the girl isn't, you know, affected and her life isn't going to be forever changed for the experience that she had. But it's just the moment, like you say, like football players have done crazy shit on camera and
CT
gotten away with
quite
it
quite literally like
and gotten away with it.
Charlotte.
Like,
I'm like the Texans organization is a whole bunch of enablers.
like if I'm thinking about football, what I've seen from football players over the years, I'm like, baby, we have seen some horrible things. And not even that. I'm thinking specifically like something like Chris Brown. Like, I mean, granted, have we let him live that down?
Now let's
No.
talk
But
about
the
it.
fact that
Let's talk
we
about it.
still support somebody like Chris Brown, even though he was so violent publicly, like publicly exposed for being violent against a Black woman who, you know, we still respect and everything or whatever. So without even that point, just the fact that like he still exists as somebody who still has a platform and is acknowledged as, you know, like a man in culture right now. But
Yeah.
I think what happened with Jonathan, and it is what it is. Only reason I say this is because this is the last thing I heard of him before I heard of this was so much of the backlash that he was getting for that photo shoot that he did with Michael B. Jordan after Creed 3, because it was like the whole moment that Creed 3 is so much about Black violence and like, you know, man, like Black man against Black man, that they did this photo shoot. And it was just supposed to kind of like show that like Black men, though we have so much media portraying us being violent towards each other, we should have media that portrays us being humble and caring towards one another. So they have some very intimate shots in terms of like, you know, laying heads on shoulders or kind of like being in an embrace of one another. And I think that has a big part into why his PR team and management team had to let him go, because
Ooh.
PR and management, they're never trying to cover up a story if it's already out. It's just a matter of garnering or what, like getting some type of support from whatever their fan base is to help create a more positive image of that person.
Yeah.
Ideally, we weren't trying to say JFK wasn't cheating on his wife with Marilyn. Everybody knew that. It was just the moment that we kept trying to push for the people who still love JFK outside of the fact that he was cheating on his wife, still push him as like, you know, this caring man, you know, this man of dignity, this man of class, you know, this, you know, scholar or like, you know, fine gentleman of America. Like, but Jonathan Major has no community of support. It's not his Marvel fans or like those people aren't gonna have his back as hard as they could right now because it's on the fence. Like, I don't need to support you. You don't have to be whatever. I don't know if he was in Marvel or not. I just said that.
He
Um,
wasn't.
okay, so then yeah, Marvel movie. And then mama, like the black community not standing 10 toes down for him like they did for R. Kelly because he done did some gay shit. So we're not supporting him like that no more. Jonathan Major doesn't have a serious queer following or anything like that because that's not, you know, his community or anything like that. So it's like when we think about it, he has no actual community that the PR management team can try to use to create a positive image. At
Yeah.
that point, they have to completely rebrand him altogether. And it's just like he's not a big enough celebrity to get to that point of rebranding.
Yeah. I would like to say that Jonathan Major's big like audience was feminine people. Like people like feminine queers or like feminine women.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're attracted to men, like everybody was like going and guying over Jonathan Majors. But
The
it's
same
like,
people that was gaga on over Denzel Washington found a way to gaga over him.
yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
you openly abuse somebody. I'm gonna be real. R. Kelly's easy to like get a like have a continuation of like, you know, abuse or like is okay or gets replayed on the radio because he is like to say for he's he's a heterosexual man's man. Does
He's
that
a
make
man's
sense?
man, yes.
He's a man's man. Chris Brown is a man's man.
He's
Drake
a
is
man's
a man's
man,
man.
yes.
So like these people can continue to have like abuse allegations because their target audience isn't women. Like, yeah, you might pull a few women in here and there, but
Mm.
to be honest, like that, like I saw this video on TikTok. It was like men are actually like the worst like what is it, like fans, because like,
Mm.
oh my god, bro, like it's so great to meet you. Like, nobody's gonna. I don't know a lot of women who go to a Drake concert. I don't know a lot of women who go to a Future concert. It's niggas. It's
Okay,
niggas.
now,
Like the niggas are
no,
like,
now we got to slow down because, baby, you realize that women play a major part in keeping the patriarchy alive as well.
hold on,
Because, baby,
the-
we do
I
have some
don't
niggas that tote
disagree.
Drake and tote Future, but, baby, the girls be on it hard too.
I don't disagree. I don't say like they don't have an audience like with women. I just think their majority of their audience are like teenage boys. If that makes sense. Like it's not.
Okay,
It's like people chasing masculinity. If that makes sense.
okay, that's
So
fair.
when I think of like Jonathan Majors' audience, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be a macho man like Jonathan Majors, because the dude he was looking strong. The man was looking beat.
Right.
His audience wasn't men. It was most definitely like people who are attracted to men. It was like, oh, like he looks cute, he looks sexy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Michael B. Jordan's audience isn't men, it's women, because they're like he's a very attractive male. You know what I mean? He has that
Yes,
Denzel Washington
but I
effect.
think influencer culture. Uh-oh.
What?
Hello?
Yeah, you
What
can hear me?
happened?
Yeah, we're good.
No, okay, it came back. Yeah, it kind of did like a little jump out. What were you
Oh,
saying?
okay. But basically like his aesthetic was more like sex appeal, if that makes sense,
Okay.
than it is like I'm an icon. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think that, and this is just my personal opinion, I think that because of social media and influencer culture, I feel that like even though like the audience in terms of what's going over him in the comment section, I can see is surprisingly like, overwhelmingly like women, like the female gaze. But I'm like the male gaze on other men plays so much more. Like Michael B. Jordan, is he a Michael B. Jordan? I'm gonna say straight down, is a man's man. But the reason why women and he has such a following of women and female eyes or femme eyes on him is because he's a man's man. I feel like the same thing applies to the people that you said, the Drake, the Futures, the R. Kelly, the Chris Browns. Like we are, yes, they're following and their fans. Let me say that back. Their fans are going to be overwhelmingly women, but their followers are going to be men. And I think the same thing applies for John in this moment is his audience in terms of who's watching him, I think are actually men. But his fans who are under his pages, liking his pictures and be like, "Oh, you so fine," is overwhelmingly feminine and women in that moment.
Okay.
But in terms of like who's watching the Creeds, who's watching the Marvel movies, who's keeping up with the post to see what I need to look like to be a man, those are overwhelmingly men. I do believe that. And I think that in that moment is why I make the argument about the PR team. He lost his moment of being a man's man because of the photo shoot. Like you are no longer in the man sphere because you displayed some type of like vulnerability, some type of queerness. But yeah, like that was taken from you. Like that was taken from you through that photo shoot. So it's like you don't have that support anymore.
I don't know. People who are watching this podcast, let us know what y'all think. Because my thing is this, I don't think Creed isn't Rocky. Does that make sense? I feel like people watch Creed to watch John Boyega and not John Boyega, Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan had their shirts on. Like, even though I was watching their advertisements, I'm like, this ain't for like Rocky people. This is for the
No.
googles and guys. This is for I wanna watch y'all run around with y'all shirt off for 2 hours. That's why I didn't go watch it. Honestly, I have never watched Creed because it has never been like I want to go see a man be shirtless. It's never been attractive to me. I'm like, Rocky hasn't been attractive to me. Like Rocky is like cool, but I'm like, I'm not about to watch Michael B. Jordan be sweaty for 2 hours. Now, if that's your
Yeah.
cream of the crop, that's your little ghouls and guys, that's what you like looking at on a Saturday night,
Right.
cool. But nothing in that show, nothing in that movie was for me. I was like, the plot doesn't even look interesting. I don't want it.
And that's what I was about to say. Like, I think if anything, I don't think the movie of Creed, I don't think it was supposed to be like, I think, especially considering the franchise of Rocky in that moment of how like boxing films, those stories, how are they supposed to be any different? Like, it's
This is
gonna always
like
be the same type of
overcoming an
story.
obstacle, like
Like,
thing.
literally, it's
But
gonna
Creed
always have that same
wasn't
flow.
like that. I don't feel like Creed is advertised like that. It's most definitely advertised like we have two sexy men about to box it out.
Now, yes, that's what I was about to say. I would say, like, I think that in terms of film and media, we've just seen a general over sexualization in what we see in media, period.
I
Like
agree.
everything is turned more sexual. But I think in terms of like, if I am a person who's interested in boxing films, Creed is still gonna be on the market and on one of the top rankings for it because that
Oh,
is
they
still
made
a
some money.
boxing plot. Exactly. Like it's still
They
a
made some
boxing
money.
plot. Like
Is Creed
I do think
money?
people are going to see those men be shirtless, obviously, because we also have the same people who are like famous on TikTok for simply walking around the house in their pajama pants with no drawers on. Like sexual sex sells. So of course we're gonna have an audience that goes to see that movie because of it. But I think that Creed in itself, outside of the images of what masculinity is supposed to look like on men's body through the images that we see in the movie, I think that Creed 3 or Creed franchise, Rocky franchise, period, is just like that continuous like feeling the manosphere and feeling like that kind of like idea that like manhood equals violence,
Yeah.
manhood equals some type of like ability to overcome these obstacles with violence. Like it's never like we're using any type of love or reformation or
Yeah,
community
we
acts to
can't do
actually heal the
that.
community.
We
No,
can't
it's
do
like I'm
that.
here to kill the community with my own glory, power through my ability to beat
So
a
you watched
nigga
the
ass.
movie. You watched the
Oh,
movie.
I've definitely seen Creed 1 and Creed 2, and I'm going to see Creed 3. But it is that moment that like I saw Creed 1 with the intention of being very much so, like you said, the people who was going to see the bodies and the sweat and all that. But then watching it, I'm like, oh, this is like every other boxer, like you said, like movie about resiliency. I mean, like they had that small splash of love, which I appreciate with what's her name, Tessa Thompson.
That's
Um,
why I wanted to go see Creed for Tessa Thompson.
because she is actually I love her character and I kind of like even though I don't understand like the concept they have for it, but I love the fact that like she also is a person that has like the disability of like losing her hearing throughout the movie. So like yeah, I'm like the
Yeah,
plot. I'm like Creed has a plot if you pay attention to it, but if you are a person who just gets on TikTok to look at people shake their ass, you can go look at Creed to just see men be
Tessa Thompson,
sweaty.
call me, please. Please call me.
Anyway, that's
Anyway,
that.
but I will also like to run back. First off, when we're talking about domestic abuse by Black men, I also want to say Black masculine people. Because I'm not going to sit here and not act like there's not Black women who are masked who don't be perpetrators of abuse.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and say that as a masculine Black woman. I know y'all. I sat in rooms with y'all. I heard what y'all said. I've been in the group chats. Oh,
It's the excuse of masculinity. Like, in order for our society has done our, I can't even say our, well, yeah, our society in terms of American society has done like a really poor like job at teaching us that masculinity has to do with all these like do with all these like concepts of like power and dominance and violence and like disrespect and like that's why like you say like it be I'm not saying the femme people don't exercise abuse in their
oh,
relationships at all.
I
I'm
think
just
it's
saying
possible.
we
I
know
don't.
no they definitely do, but
They
we
do.
also acknowledge it's overwhelmingly masculine people who
Yeah,
feel like they have the privilege to do somebody else like that, and that's because that's what we taught our people about masculinity and femininity.
I think even if we argue about it, like how lesbians are more well accepted than feminine and gay people, and maybe this leads to the next topic. But one thing about me is like the Black fragility of Black women. And so I was in a class and I remember who said this, but I do remember there was a topic. They're like, Black masculine lesbians are more accepted in the Black community than a feminine Black man will ever be, because it's easy to see why. Like I just remember somebody ignorant saying this, but they're like, I understand why a woman would want to be a man, because I would never want to be a woman because I leaves me vulnerable all the damn time. But I would never understand why a man would want to give up his privilege to be a woman. And I said, I'm glad you explained your ignorance in your own way, but it started to make a lot more sense. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, because that's
Because
exactly what people's problem is. Like, why on earth would you ever want to be a woman? It's almost in that same instance to be like,
you
why on
acknowledge the
earth would
fact
you
that
ever
we
want to be
suffered.
black? Like, you want to be black in America? Girl, that's like that mama, like when we tell people like, oh, your hair looks a mess, like you need to straighten your hair, like stuff like that. Like those concepts of like having to look our best in certain areas and spaces is very much so like, why would you want to put yourself at a lower social ranking? Like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Like, you have the opportunity to be above whatever it is, and you bring yourself down. So like it is that moment that like masculine lesbians, oh baby, they always gonna have a seat at the table first.
Us in
Because
our
you fall into the core, you fall into the ploy.
and you know what? I think we're gonna have to scratch what the original plan for the podcast was today.
Right,
But and it's okay, because then we got
right.
next week, next month. But I think, especially when we're talking about Black masculinity, one thing I always I read this book called Black Girl Call Home, right? Uh,
Oh, it's the poetry book.
yes,
I have that.
you
I'm
have
reading it right now. I am
I finished it in
actually.
less than 24 hours. This is gonna become one of them reading podcasts. We're gonna have a
No,
reading
it's gonna
list,
have
y'all.
to be
We're
because
gonna have
I'm
a reading
actually
list for
halfway
y'all.
through
So
it.
y'all gotta keep up.
Hmm.
Because I told y'all, we're gonna talk about main topics, but we're also academics on this podcast. He has 2 degrees
Absolutely.
and I have degrees in publishing. So
Her.
we're here.
Hmm.
Did you think we weren't going to read books?
Okay. Okay, but because also on the same note, I finished All About Love. So that's finished now. And I'm starting, what is it? Is it Communion?
Uh
Whatever the second one is. No,
yeah.
Salvation and then Communion.
Salvation and communion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm on
Yeah.
Salvation now.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have a bell hooks specialty podcast for all my bell
Oh
hooks.
yeah.
But you have to read all of bell hooks. You have to read all the love trilogy, and then we'll have a discussion.
Okay. Okay, got you.
We'll have to find a sponsor for that one. Uh,
Barnes
but
and Nobles? See.
Barnes and Noble, semicolon. But yes, I think one thing that's very important to talk about when we talk about Black masculinity is one thing that's always been referenced to me is the Black community, the Black diaspora is a matriarchy. Originally, it's a matriarchy. You can't tell me that it's not.
Right.
Even in my own
Right.
family, I'm like I as a kid, I remember like the guys used to joke around like, yeah, we run the house, and all the women would laugh because it's like none of y'all run the houses, none of y'all do.
Right. Right.
None of y'all are making the decision, and even till now, my grandfather takes very great care of my grandmother. My grandfather can say what he wants to say, but regardless of what my grandfather may say, think, or feel, my grandmother's decision, final decision.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter. And my mother's family is my aunt. And it's like whatever she says goes. I can say how I want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can like all the men in the family can say how they want to feel, but guess what? Whatever she says goes. And so there are multiple families like this, especially with the amount of single women held households in especially in the Black community in America. Not because we do this on purpose, but because of police violence. For y'all to have the audacity to treat women the way y'all do is beyond me. And it's especially like the respect for women, right? It's like you should have more respect for women outside of your mother, your sister, your cousins, your mima, your grandma, whatever the case is, and attractive women, right? Have respect for all Black women, regardless of their attractiveness
And let's
or
be
their
real.
religion.
Even in that conversation, are these men respecting their mamas, aunties, sisters, and cousins because they actually respect them as
Nah,
human beings, or do they just respect them because they do service for them?
honestly, and I think, and you know what? I'll say this as well. I've had some dating experiences where people try to like push masculinity or like these traditional masculine roles, and I'm like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what we not gonna do, right? And I think overall in the Black community, we have to like let our men be more gentle. Like, I will give a shout out to Miguel Chavez. He studies masculinity within sociology very very well, but it's like we look at like I remember it's like we was walking around Chicago and we saw these little boys, these Black and brown boys playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we were like so happy to see them like just genuinely joy, right?
Yeah.
But eventually this world will take that joy away from them, right? And so a question I had to the masculine people in this world, especially the Black and brown masculine people, is like, when's the last time you were allowed to have genuine joy in public? You know what I mean? And I think not only that, I think heterosexual men hate homosexual men because a lot of times, one, homosexual men, we live in a community where they're kind of allowed to exist in a joyous space. Like you're expected to have genuine joy, right? Like if you don't have a genuine joy in a gay space, people are gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?" Be,
Mm-hmm.
be like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of expected for you to be yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
yes, there's a lot more plays in place, but I think one reason that heterosexual men hate homosexual men is because homosexual men will not allow you to kill their joy.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank, period. Like we will die happy. I don't give a fuck what y'all feel. And I think a lot in our community, when's the last time you seen a man have genuine joy and allowed to be joyous, regardless of what it is? Like whether it's sport,
Mm.
whatever.
And
I feel
no,
like
that's what I was about to say. I feel like that is important. And what are you being joyous about? Because are you able to be joyous about anything that other than things that relate to violence. Because I love seeing people get excited about sports and celebrating their team. Yeah, we can say it's hometown pride and all that, but it's also like, but you're not excited because somebody actually like did something good for anything. You're excited because someone just tackled someone and damn near knocked their head off. Like
Yeah.
you're excited because someone just pushed somebody down and damn near broke their back or something like that. Like you're not excited because, somebody, did something that touched your heart or did something that made you reflect on something in your life. And I'm not saying everything has to be an introspection moment or anything
Yeah.
like that, but it's just the fact that like men, especially like if we're talking about our community, they express joy, but it's always joy about violence. Like I think about conversations, like, they don't
Or
get
it has to be
excited.
excellence.
You say
Yes.
what?
Or it has to be excellent, some form of excellence, you know?
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I hear what you're saying about that. I think if anything, it seems, especially for like how I see it, I think that my existence is too much of a cognitive dissonance for straight men. And like it's basically what you're saying. It's just the fact that like to see someone who is also in the form of a black man body able to, embody traits and characteristics of feminine expression and still be joyous and still be loved and still be cared for. I think that that's so much of a cognitive dissonance for straight men who have convinced themselves that in order to be cared, loved, respected, or deserving or worthy in this world, I have to be, buzz cut short. I have to be,
Yeah.
military ready. I have to be, God fearing or whatever the things that could be that like people associate with their masculinity. Like they get so hardened on the idea that masculinity is such a narrow shoot of possibility that when they see someone able to express something outside of that, it's it's an issue for them because it's like now it's almost like regrettable for the fact that like what am I doing? Like am I doing something that truly feels right for me, or am I just kind of like checking the boxes for the sake of checking the boxes? Because this person quite literally ain't checking no fucking boxes and they seem to be doing fine. So why am
Yes.
I still fucking miserable and upset with my life? And I think that that's why we have so much hatred, so much homophobia, so much issues, like, with just like personal relationships, political relationships. Like, it's a mess. But I think that's just because people be jealous, like, people be hating.
No, I agree. Because it's even like when you told me you was flying kites, I was like, that's so cute. And I know that made you so fucking happy because it's a beautiful day outside. And you should
Oh,
be flying
oh, and get
kites.
in that moment, jealousy is a real thing because, like, so how it works is, I stay next to this trail, and the trail leads to the little park, and the park is across the street from, someone's house or whatever. But the fact is, like, it's the park, it's their house, and then there's this super open field of nothing. Like, it's basically waiting to be developed, but it's not any land.
Yeah.
So it's all this land, mind you, their house is here, the park is here. There's a tree that sits right between their house and this giant field across the street from the park. On the tree, it's a sign that says private property. Everything from that tree to their lawn, to their house, is their private property. We're in the field next to their house. A man basically comes out and tells me, "This is private property. You can't be over here. Take y'all ass to the park."
Show me the
Funny.
property line. Show me the property line that the city.
Show me the property line that the city gave
That's
you,
a
because
fence.
when you mow your lawn, when I am driving, because this is the neighborhood that I stay in, I literally see your fucking front yard from my house if I just walk right here at the corner of my fucking yard right now. When I see you mow your lawn, you stop at the tree. You don't
You're
go
supposed to
into
mow
the
your lawn
field.
wherever that property line is supposed to be in a different
You
direction.
don't go into you don't go into
That's
anything
Texas
past the
based.
tree of that field. Why? And I at this point, I'm not gonna argue with you. I don't really care. It was getting dark anyway. It's time for me to go. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It just means it's over now. I know this not your yard. Also for the fact that when the city of Dallas comes out here to mow the like grass at the park, they're getting the field across the street too. So either you're telling me you pay for the city of Dallas to
They
cut the
ain't
grass
doing
at the
that
park
shit.
and your yard,
They ain't doing that shit.
or that's not your yard like you say it is. Because what happens when I'm dropping my mama off from work today? I'm coming back home, and guess who's in that big ass fucking that big ass field cutting the grass? The city of fucking Dallas. So in that moment, I say that point to be like that moment of like jealousy of joy, because it's like, that this big ass fucking field is not yours. You do not pay for this. You do not cut this grass. It's not yours. It's just next to your house. But you see somebody out here, particularly a black queer person, out here enjoying themselves in the field with the kite, and you just took it upon yourself to try to steal their joy.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Because I was just flying a kite, like literally a beautiful little. Here's the little thing for it. I decided to show you. It was a yellow butterfly.
I know that shit was cute.
Very. But just in there, just like the jealousy of joy. I think that's really the reason why we have so many things like racism, sexism, all of it, homophobia, is because you're jealous of joy.
Quite literally, I think Black Boy Joy was so popular because black men can't be joyous.
Exactly.
Man, I'm sorry you had that experience. I feel like,
Girl, talk about life. Be for real.
look, I think, it, I really do want, although I do hate men, most men. I think the men I do have in my life, regardless of what their identities are, right?
Right.
I do hope they genuinely find joy. I think you genuinely should find happiness, and I think, and this is just for anybody, right? I wish you joy and happiness, quite literally, because at the end of the day, if you're doing something that makes you unhappy, that your part of your life ain't shit.
No,
Right?
it's not.
Like you should do something that makes you genuinely happy. If you're listening
Right.
and they don't make you genuinely happy, why are you with them? So with that being said, I do wish joy for all my black mass people. Like, please stop.
Yes.
Relax your fucking shoulders. Relax your neck.
Unclench your fucking jaw.
Unclench your cheeks. Because then you know why I'm trying to get up in there. Unclench your cheeks.
Ooh, that's a good
Relax.
one. That's a good one.
Please. And it is crazy. I remember OU had a false what is it called, false shooting thing going on, and I was like, I was all clenched up, like boom, and I was like, you are so tight right now. Like you can see somebody be actually like tight, like
Yeah.
oh, I'm like unflex, relax, right? Like just unfold your arms, unfold yourself, like you look like you're about to
Be
shit.
shaking. No, literally.
Relax. I see the vein in the middle of your fucking head.
No.
In your temple, right? Because you got a ball face, so I can see your temple, your vein in your temple, like running up. Unclench yourself. Unclench yourself, please. You're giving yourself high blood pressure. Like, relax. You know what I'm saying? You're eating fucking chicken wings and stressed the fuck out and drinking a 40. Unclench your cheeks. Unclench your cheeks. Let the fart go. Now, if it gets wet, you probably got diarrhea. But please, unclench yourself. Unclench.
Stop. We
Release
get it.
yourself
We
from the
get it. We
shackles.
get it, Jamila. We
No,
get it.
I'm gonna say this. I'm on my run. Let me do my run. I need you to take the shackles you put on yourself. Please. Black masculine people, take the shackles so you can dance.
Girl,
Twirl.
they not
Twirl,
ready to
ribbon and
do
twirl in the
that.
living room, baby.
They not
Please
ready to do that. They not ready to do that.
relax. Relax. That's why
They
your
not
knees
ready to
hurt.
do that.
Because you got them fucking locked up. That's why your jump shot's bad. Relax, my guy.
Cause you
Relax.
gotta realize, no,
Let the
back
water wash through your
masculinity.
ass.
Girl,
There's
they not
dirt in
gonna do
there from
that.
2008.
No,
That dirt been
they want
around
that.
since
No.
Obama got elected. Please.
And it's gonna be
Relax.
there by the time one of his daughters get elected. Yeah, that's how long it's gonna be. Them niggas not doing it. For especially if like unless the only way I see something truly being able to happen is and it's not gonna happen, is if the patriarchy really just crumbles. Because it's the fact that if you have a choice to exist as toxic, because the only reason we call it toxic, but it exists in whatever form you've always existed in for the sake of your comfort, because the world is going to affirm you and tell you that you're right, even if you do are really naturally and then truly toxic, or get to a point of having to unlearn everything that actually makes you toxic to be a better person and lose all that privilege and all that comfortability that you've had all your life. These niggas not gonna do that. That's why it's always like, if I find the right one, if I find the right girl, she gonna, yeah, that's true. I do believe that
That's so
love
much
can,
pressure on black
that's
women.
a lot of pressure. It is, but
Like,
I
I
do believe
don't
that
say
love
you
can
hate
change.
me, nigga.
I believe that love can make a man want to change for the better, but I don't think that men are focused on love right now. And I don't think that any of the men that we're thinking of right now are willing to go through that journey without any extra motivation to do it.
I'll tell you the truth. I have a younger sister, and she's heterosexual. God bless
Mhm.
us
God bless everybody that's attracted to men, because it's a
all.
curse.
Like, I had to look at y'all struggle.
Okay.
And it's fine pickings out here. I'll admit for you, it's fine pickings. But one thing I always tell her, I'm like, I don't give a damn who that man is, but he better treat you right, and you deserve nothing less. Like even my close friend who's engaged, I'm like, look, I like him because he treats you like the queen you are. That's really it, right? Like I love seeing my friends who date men be treated right by men, regardless, whatever that relationship looks like. I'm okay as long as it's consensual and you're happy and he makes you happy and he's dealing with his shit. I'm okay with it. And I think like so much like I also want Black women and just Black feminine people unburden yourself with the responsibility of taking, like, yes, I am my brother's keeper. Yes, I will always look out for Black men, but I'm not about to save you while killing me, if that makes sense. Does make sense. I'm about to save you for killing me, to kill me. You know what I mean? And I really wish like there's a better understanding in the community of that. Like, yes, we should take care of our Black people, like all Black people, not just Black men. But at the same time, if you killing me or willing to kill me to step on my body so you can get a little bit higher to the Black man, to a white man.
That's what it is.
And you know what's the funniest thing is like watching Black men like try to tear down Black women who date white men. And it's like I'm like Serena Williams, Quinta Bernison, there's so many Black women who date white men who advocate so hard for the Black community, and y'all like, y'all not really for it. And I'm like, but how many times have you seen a Black man date a white woman and tear a Black woman down?
And what
I
does
went to
that do for the
OU
community?
countless times. I watched it up and down the South over. Y'all treat I'm so sorry. If you are a Black woman, a Black feminine person who went to a predominantly white institution, you have been raised through hell, if that makes sense. And especially dark-skinned Black women. Y'all, I'm so sorry, my sister, because truly these people out here cannot acknowledge your beauty for what it is, because y'all have taught that once they get on these slopes of whiteness, and you know what? I know my friends, y'all gonna listen to this podcast and be like, that's really white women. I said, this is not the podcast. This is not the podcast about that.
Okay, baby, because I was waiting for you to go ahead and call yourself out because I'm like, you going on a tangent, but baby, don't forget when you point one finger, four point back at you.
This is I am part of half of this podcast. This is what I will say. Yes, I do date white women. Shame on me. But what I will say is I've never chose a white woman over a Black person. Have I? Have I? Now
I don't. Is that even a reason to have a conversation right now? I don't think that's important.
we can have a discussion later. But what I will
Yeah,
say,
I'm like, I don't think that's important for this conversation.
I'll say this exactly.
I think the fact that you date white women is enough. That's enough to go off of.
I was living in Oklahoma. Okay,
Okay, right.
I will look. If you lived in Oklahoma and you trying to date somebody that was, I would say seasoned. Once you dated 5 people who were seasoned, that's all you had. That's all.
Yeah. I would say, if anything, the difference in this conversation for you is the fact that you haven't said anything like, ugly about Black women. And of course, I would like to say that comes from your experience as a Black woman, but I can't say that's for everybody because some people will still say some ugly shit.
Oh yeah, but
Also with that, I think that what specifically makes yours a conversation to have is because instead of being like the football players and basketball players we're talking about, on the real, Jamila, you the gay conscious lead. I'm sorry. Like you do. And I do. I wholeheartedly believe you and consciously.
wait, is this white?
I do believe you and consciously both believe in Black liberation and the importance of activism in our community to change the community for our kids to have a better future. But it's just like, how committed are we? How integral is this to our character and our being of center? And we're still with white people. Okay, bye now. Hello, everyone. And that was our episode. We love you all so much. That was part 1 of this discussion, okay? Because Jamila needs a break, okay?
Okay, I'm okay. I think love is love 1, right? Again, as I said, there is a difference. I'm gonna say this first up. Love you love, baby girl. If you fell in love with Jane Doe, if you fell in love with Courtney, I can't say that. I know a Black woman named Courtney. If you fell in love with Emma, I have 2 teenagers named Emma. They're gonna laugh at this. But if you fell in love with them, oh, whatever. Look, I get it. But also, there's a difference when you choose to fall in love with somebody, but yet still support the community. I think you can love who you want. I don't care. Fall in love, baby girl. Fall in love, fall head over heels, and you're like, look, can't season for shit, but they love me. They love me right. Hey, love is love. But let me be. Anywho, but there is something to be said when you Kanye West and fall in love with a white woman to up your own status and then hate on black people through the process. Now that's some bullshit. You don't RuPaul that shit. It's okay to love who you love. It's not okay to tear down your own community or tear down oppressed people because you have decided that you are one adjacent from being a white man. That's what I'll say. And you know what? If I am the gay consciously, maybe we could get him on a podcast. Maybe we don't know. I don't know. We're probably seeing that.
Go ahead, put that on real quick.
I'm just put my glasses on for now.
Put that on real quick because I'm just gonna go ahead and just let y'all know I might look with two eyes, but I see with one. Thank you. All I'm gonna say is I stand 10 toes down on the consciously comparison, but I think if anything for it, it's just the fact that like, how do I say this? How do I say this?
I'll also
all
say
about
this.
love.
A
Let's
lot of
just go
y'all,
back to that.
all about hold on. All I gotta say is this. I think the funniest thing is when people like ask mixed children, was your mama black or was your daddy black? And that tells every story
Everything I need
I
to know
need
about
to
you.
know.
I
Now
don't
you
need to know
know
nothing
you don't
else.
know. A lot of people ask people who are like saying like, "Oh, I mix up black and white." People always ask,
Who's black?
"Which one of your parents is black?" Let me tell you
Who
why.
black? Who black?
Because basically, most people's experience is if your mama was black, you were you were you were raised and acknowledged your black experience. Like you weren't basically how do can you help me out with this one? But simply put, you weren't hidden from your black experience, if that makes sense. You were told you were black. You can use your privilege, but also understand you are not allowed to shit on black people because you are lighter skin or may have a little bit of privilege to be white passing. But if your daddy was black, he acted like all y'all was white. For most people, basically, you probably grew up without having technology or blackness, basically, or like you played into the white stereotype until somebody figured out that when you got in the pool, you got a fro, and it wasn't because you were Jewish. All right, let me know. Let me know if that's a good enough explanation.
I know when Esther hears this, she gonna be real proud of me for not going too deep on this tangent
No, go
because
ahead, go on this.
no, I can't. I'm not. No, the mixed kids conversation. I'm not going on the tangent for that
We're gonna
because
have a mixed kid come up on this podcast. A mixed kid we know can like have
and that'd be the episode where we gonna
probably a
really have
mixed kid with a black mama.
because and all the reason I say this is because I have some very interesting opinions on the whole conversation of black mamas versus non-black mamas for mixed kids. I think you hit it enough. All I'm gonna say is just in my translation for everybody who didn't get the beautifully politically correct what she's saying, is she saying you got a black mama? The girls that get it. The girls that don't.
All I gotta say is, if you had a black mama, you had your racial identity crisis in middle school. If you
If
grew up
your
with a black
daddy
daddy, you had your racial crisis sophomore year of college.
if your daddy was the blackest person in your house, I can't even say that because sometimes kids come out different colors. Actually, if your daddy was the only person that could have told you about your black experience,
You find out at Tri Delta how racist your sisters are.
you'll find out just how black your ass is one day, okay? But your daddy not gonna tell you because he's
And
trying to
you will
run away
have
from
an
his blackness.
identity
That's why he
crisis.
has your mama. But I'm gonna say that is that. But if anything, back to the conversation we're talking about, like, the love and like, even talking about this whole conversation about like being with white women and being like, for the black community and like, can you still balance the two? I think obviously you can still balance the two because who you end up deciding to spend your life with and who you decide to love has nothing to do with like your character in terms of values and things that you're gonna stand on in communities and different like things you're gonna support. I don't think that it really should have too much of an impact on it because who you are, it should be, of course, compatible with who you love, but who you are should not be who you love, if that makes sense. In that same breath, I think that whenever we're talking about love today, we need to be real, and I think we all should take a very big study session out of Bell Hooks All About
And
Love,
that's gonna be our
because
special before Pride. We're gonna have all about we have a
we
bill.
have to. I have to
Legit.
finish those books so we can do that before Pride then, because we have
Yeah.
to, because I don't believe that these conversations are ever really centering around love whenever we're talking about this, especially when we're thinking about like the ways we're talking about interracial marriage. It's like, are we really talking about we loving these people, or are we just going after these people, like you say, for some type of advancement in social status, or is it really just lust? Because when we think about the definition, like the definition of love and All About Love has completely changed my perspective on so much. Because it's like when I'm thinking about the ways in which I have thought about being in relationships or thought about wanting to be in a relationship, it was not to actually be in love. It was just for the sake of social status, so you don't seem single, because it
Yeah.
comes social, so you do get social privileges for being able to say you're in a coupling, you do. And then also in the moment of just to fulfill personal lust, because in terms of like the actual commitment and care and like continued understanding of another person, continued commitment to seeing another person actualized for themselves, that is not what we're talking about when we're talking about love and conversations like these, like in these type of like, forums. Like we're
Yeah.
not talking about that type of love. We're talking about the big booty BBL bitches or the snow bunnies that outer niggas want. Like you're not wanting these people because you want to take care of them and help them actualize. You just want them because they serve some image to your fantasies. And I think that is why I vibe with a lot of those conversations when it comes to those interracial moments.
I think we're gonna have to really get into that light skin, dark skin discussion. But I will say
This
we
is a good part one. Yeah, this was extended. We wasn't
no.
expecting this.
This podcast is specifically today has been about Black masculinity and how it reiterates and specifically with John Boyega versus like Chris things of that nature. But we're gonna go back to that topic. But what I will say, if you
We
want
gonna, by the way, I'm gonna just say it because we keep doing it. It's Majors, y'all. We keep saying Boyega. We know we're not talking about him.
Jonathan Majors,
Yeah.
not John Boyega, both Jonathans. Dizzy don't matter. They said y'all black. We just traded one John.
Okay, at this point.
They said we want Boyega, not Majors. But what I will say is this: if you really want this all about love discussion, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That is going to be a long
I'm about to
podcast.
say, ain't no if they, girl. Don't nobody be responding about what the fuck they want in this podcast. We
I'm
do what we
trying to get
want.
viewers, okay?
Oh, girl, yeah, and we
The
gonna
more
keep
viewers we get, the more
trying,
money we gonna
okay?
get. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
But
working
guess
hard.
what?
I'm
We
working
are. Guess
hard.
what? We gonna
You
keep
know, I
pushing
gotta get my
content
money
until we
right. I
find
gotta
it.
invest in us. I gotta invest in us. I'm about to put us on a bus. I'm about to put us.
Okay, tour. Okay, live tour, period.
Oh no, I mean advertising.
Oh, you said on a bus. No, I thought you was mean like we gonna be on a bus like live touring, but
I don't
one
know.
day, baby
It's
steps.
more like I'm about to put follow up, listen to the podcast, and put it in Boys Town, in Hyde Park, and put it on a park bench. Uh,
Advertisement, hey.
hey, look, advertising, what my money can get us. But one thing I will say, and then we're gonna go back to this discussion. We will have this all about love discussion. It will be a long podcast. It will be special, so it won't be part of our monthly recording, but it will be a recording of it once we both finish it. Come back with our notes. So if you are or have read Bell Hooks, All About Love truly is all about love. It's what is it called? What's the second book?
Salvation, communion,
Salvation, which is
present
about
communion. Yeah.
Black love specifically, and the communion, which is about Black woman love. But read those books. We're gonna give y'all till late May, and then we're having a discussion.
And I was gonna say, I don't know if we're because I know we've been talking about it. I'm like, I feel like if it's not gonna be a regular monthly recording, would that not be an amazing Patreon first post? Like our first post is like our book club kind of moment. Like we're getting deep into Bell Hooks, And I'm ready. Like I've already been doing my highlights in my books. So I'm ready to make up my points by chapter. Like if we want to do that, like I'm for it.
We may have to bring some guests on that one. We may have to.
Oh, Esther, if she's listening to this, and hopefully she still listens to this podcast, she's going to be a guest on all of for that. Any book club thing, she's going to be there for book
reach
club.
out to us. What is required of you is one thing. One, you must be a minority. You must identify as a minority or racial minority. One, you must be an ally of the queer community
or in the queer community,
or be an ally. And then also, you have to be from the South. That means you need to be from a place from lower than the Mason-Dixie line. If you are not, we can have a discussion. You may have to, have an interview beforehand. Yeah. But for the most part, you must be of Southern culture.
Yes.
Again, that's one. What was the first one? Oh yeah,
First one
you
must
must be
be
from a minority community, so that's
yes.
why BIPOC. You can be a BIPOC. We're expanding to BIPOC. White people, this is not a space for you. You can listen. Feel free to join the
Hold on,
conversation.
wait. Does
Ask
this
Black people.
include people who are mixed race with white mothers?
We are doing the one drop rule. One drop rule by understanding. If you have to go to ancestry.com to see if you were Black, this doesn't count. That doesn't count. We're not acknowledging, okay? We're going to be like the tribes. If ancestry.com had to tell you that you're Black or you're indigenous, that
It's
doesn't count.
a one drop rule.
And
Okay.
if ancestry.com said that you're from Argentina because your German father decided to lead Nazis to go to Germany, that doesn't count. I said Black, indigenous, people of color. Racial people. I'm talking about race. American race.
Two.
Two. You must be an ally. If you think you're gonna come spewing hate on my podcast, that's not towards Kanye or Kim Kardashian.
Not
Think
so much on
again.
Kanye. Not so much on Kanye, but okay. Three.
If Kanye has one hater, it's me. If Kanye has no haters, I am dead. Anywho, and then three. You must be from a place lower than the Mason-Dixie line. Does that mean South America? Shit, we may count it depending on how good you are as a. We have to do an interview. We have to talk about that. But you must be from the below the Mason-Dixie line.
I'm like, and if you don't fit, because I'm like, I'm like, now we getting scared, because I'm like, how bad is this? I'm like, because now it's like, are we not? Either way, if you fit those three, you
You
is
must be a
clear
Southerner.
shooing.
We
You
might let you in if
shooing.
you're from the South Side of Chicago, but you must
Oh
be.
shit. Hold on. If you from the south side of any major city in America, you automatically you don't have to worry about that
We may
last
count
rule.
you. We may count you.
Because
We know
baby, the
Oakland
south
is the
side of
West,
it,
but
y'all about to say, y'all
look,
know what I mean by south side. Shoot, look, my
outside.
glasses coming off.
Your third high set. We're having enough of this. But
Okay.
again, we're having this all about love discussion. So yeah, I do want to say one thing about Chris Brown. A lot of y'all arguments to defend Chris Brown makes me chuckle, but also concerned, and I'll tell you why. Hold on, I'll put my academic glasses on. Y'all not mad at Chris Brown for being a woman. Let's be clear. Y'all mad that Chris Brown is beating a woman and isn't treated like a white man who beats on women. I'll say that again. Y'all not mad on Chris Brown because he's beating on women. Y'all mad at Chris Brown because he's not treated as if he's a white man who beats on women. Can I acknowledge? Hold on. Let me give him my preacher stand. Well, y'all are not mad that Chris Brown beats on women. Y'all are mad that Chris Brown isn't treated like white men who beat on women. Y'all are mad that Chris Brown isn't treated like your Harvey Weinstein and your other people who are white men who do not get disenfranchised by the industry because they are white and they have abused women. No. Because they didn't get the same effects on Me Too. Y'all are mad Chris Brown is still getting hate from white people. But this man still has a career. This man still sells out on industries. This man is still topping charts. Again, y'all do not care that Chris Brown abuses women. Y'all care that he's not treated like a white man who abuses women. Same thing with R.Kelly. There are plenty of white abusers out there. Y'all are just mad they're not treated like them. I don't give a damn who you abuse. It's still not cool. But
Right.
y'all want white privilege. Again, you want this white privilege. And so with that being said, he's not treated harsh enough. Jonathan Majors, probably gonna go to jail. R. Kelly is in jail, probably should be under the jail. Honestly. All of them should be under the jail. Your advocacy for abusers isn't because they are abusing people. It's because they aren't treated as other abusers. And that to me tells me everything I need to know. So with that being said, tell me, Makai, what's your longest goodbye for today?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out if this butterfly. I think this is a black butterfly in front of me. I don't think I've ever seen a black butterfly. And it's a butterfly because the wings are folding
Is it a
vertically.
moth?
No. They're folding vertically instead
I know
of
your phone should be charged up. Take a picture. Take a
my
picture.
phone is actually dead. Um, Yeah, it is. But no, scientifically, that's the first way you can tell the difference between a moth and a butterfly. Moths fold their wings in to their bodies. Butterflies fold their wings above them because that's how they fly.
Oh, hold on. What does it mean when you see a black butterfly? A black fly is often considered a symbol of death, ooh, but it's
Okay.
also a symbol of change. Hold on, we're gonna share my screen right quick just to
I can believe a death one. I'm like, I end up finding out that my card on my birthday is apparently the death card. Like my birthday, like and yeah, no, that's it. Yep, that's her. It's like this one. It's like this fourth one. It's like a black and it has like a little orange on the tips. The fourth one on the first row.
This one? Is that a monarch?
That one. Yeah, I guess so. It's basically it's kind of like that, but it's more black than anything. Like it's literally like only a spot of orange at the bottom.
Mhm.
She's very black. Yeah, she's giving like this one on this flower on the third row on the related pictures one, related content.
This one?
Yes, it's looking more like that. Like it's very, very black. Is she still here? Yes, she go. Hey girl, you don't want a cameo? Is your wing broken, mama? Oh no, her wing not broke. Shit. She said, girl, don't touch me. Okay, anyway. My longest goodbye, I would probably say is just the bliss of young ignorance.
Mm,
I'm just getting, especially I know that's like kind of like a lot just because I just turned 23 and it's not like it's like you ain't doing that much, but it's just like I know that I'm a more mature thinker for my age than most. And I just say that because I've realized the older I'm getting and the more serious I'm getting about just what I'm doing in life, period, I'm realizing that like I've been living in a very young delusion
mm,
in terms of what things were for me. Delusion in what I thought people wanted for me. And I think that now that I'm starting to see more of what is actually in front of me and get more in tune with what is reality, it's a little tough. But I think that that's just part of the transition or part of my transition into deeper adulthood. So yeah, that's my longest goodbye.
I'll say like similarly, like I think the longest goodbye is right now it's mentality, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Um, so for those who don't know, I had COVID, quite literally at the start of Ramadan. So my first Ramadan has been me with COVID. So I haven't been able to like fully engage as much as I want to or do everything that you're supposed to be doing in Ramadan. And
mm,
even today I was like, oh, today's Eid, and then I have dinner later on today, and I'm like, shit, I have nothing to wear. So I'm probably gonna just dress nice in the best clothes I have. But one thing that makes the longest goodbye is like I think about I'm not gonna sing it because y'all don't let me sing on this podcast anymore. But I'll be singing on the Patreon. I'm joking. I'm not going to be singing on the Patreon. I'm not gonna sing.
Actually, no. A part of the Patreon subscription is going to be a video of you lip syncing to random videos,
Lip syncing,
karaoke
yes,
style.
karaoke style. So bring those back. Yeah. But one thing that is like the mentality I have towards myself, if that makes sense.
Mm,
I feel like in this past month, I've been a lot more gracious, a lot more patient, and a lot more caring, if that makes sense.
it's
Um,
good.
and I think I'm coming into a new standard. Of like if nobody else is going to get it for me, I'm going to get it for me. And so there's a lot of things I've been doing for myself that I'm not going to talk about publicly. Me and you can talk about it, but especially like we're talking about reading after reading all about love and like, we've talked about me and Makai have personally talked about like working on our inner child. It's like nobody got me like me, right? Uh, like I'll be my own Prince Charming. I'll be my own person who saves me, but there's something in that, like although like yeah, that Cinder that Cheetah Girl song.
I'm glad you knew that's what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I can't sing on this podcast anymore. But things like that. Like I'm taking more responsibility in my piece and just being in a new space, doing all these new things. being able to find peace and find tranquility and serenity. It's been really nice. Yeah. All right. We did the longest goodbye. What's the other one we do? It's been a while since we did.
Sugar in the tank.
So what's your sugar in the tank? Sugar in the tank. I'm just playing longest goodbye. For those who aren't from the South, you'd be like, all right, now I'm gonna leave. Take you 30 minutes to leave the house. The car is running and everything, and then turn the AC on, and you still waving goodbye from the sugar in the tank. Now, if you ever been, somebody walking with a little switch and they walk, you're like, why he walking like that? Oh, he got a sugar in his tank. I mean, he little sweetness. Something different. He run different.
No,
Basically
literally.
meaning you gay. But what's the sugar in your tank this week? What's the sweetness?
What's the gay thing that I'm enjoying in life right now? I would say being able to read, just like I guess, and just learning grace for myself, because I've been hard on myself these last couple of months, and I guess I've just gotten to a point where I'm just tired of being so hard on myself and feeling so down about stuff that I can't control. So I guess the sugar in my tank is just, I guess, learning to appreciate where I am for what's going on, and just be thankful for whatever is going on in my life, and just being gracious with myself to know that like I'm not just completely like fucked off. Like I'm still out here doing something. I'm still out here trying. It's just not what I thought it would be, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And your sugar in the tank?
My sugar in the tank is you. It's literally my friends. I think especially playing rugby, our season is very long this year. It's from March till November.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Longer than we usually play.
Right.
So my sugar in the tank is like taking in moments. Started taking in a lot more moments, being more present, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
kind of getting to just like choosing my battles, but also choosing when I want to be present, and then actually being present. If that makes sense, like if I'm present, I'm fully present.
Right.
Here, I'm actually gonna be here. So,
Right.
yeah, I appreciate those around me. Shout out to my rugby team, North Shore Rugby. If you want to come watch us play rugby or want to come play rugby with us, let me know.
I
That's
sincerely want to thank Jamila's rugby team for keeping her occupied and out of trouble in Chicago and keeping her safe for as much as you can, because Lord
Oh, what
knows.
you look? They had me in Boys Town last weekend, and this person was putting up looking for masks and studs. They all grabbed me and pushed me toward this person. I damn near like fell on the person.
I love that.
And they're like, "Yeah, we're all single, but we know you don't date rugby players." So they like literally like picked me up.
It had to get you over there. Exactly. They want
I
you to
was
have a little
like,
fun. Okay. I know that's right. Good
"Wow,
team
chill
members.
out. One more week of Ramadan, please, 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 please."
Good team. Good team.
Good team. But yeah, I appreciate people around me, those who play rugby, those who don't play with people
Oh my God.
community I've made in Chicago. I appreciate you all and all my friends for all you. I love you all dearly. So yeah. Well, I told you all that I get to wait till the end. And I told you I was gonna sing happy birthday to Makai. For those of you who don't know, you can watch our podcast on YouTube. Yes, you can. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify. Share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, share it with your coworkers, share it with your lovers, your friends, all of your lovers and friends. The lovers you are publicly with and the lovers you are only in bed with. Share a podcast with them. Share with your mother, your father, your auntie, your uncle, your cousins, your great mima. Okay, she gonna laugh at that sugar in the tank joke. Anywho, all I gotta say is we need more listeners so we can get on Apple Podcasts, because some people are waiting for us to get on Apple Podcasts because it takes them when they're on Apple Podcasts, and I'm like, not yet. So you gotta listen to us. Listen to us quickly. But like I said, I'm gonna sing happy birthday to our Dallas Diamond the only way I know how. It's your birthday! It's your birthday! It's your
Can't see it, but I can't give y'all a free show. If y'all want to see the real birthday action, check out my OnlyFans. I'm kidding. I do not have an OnlyFans.
It's your
I'm
birthday.
kidding.
It's your birthday. Bend it over, break it down, bring it over, break it down, bend it over, break it down.
No, you're not about to get me beat up outside. Anyway, all right.
That's the bounce music version. That's the bounce music version. Because I miss bounce music. But
I
yeah,
love that.
again, happy birthday to Makai.
Thank you, babes.
Sing more and yell in your ear. Somebody's like, what are they doing?
Wish I could give you a hug, but it's okay.
It's okay. I may be in Dallas sometime soon, so I'll let you know.
Okay, bet. Yeah.
All right. But it's the TA Suite.
It ain't Southern, baby.
Thank you all for listening. Again, listen to us on Spotify, listen to us on YouTube, and watch us. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Other Southerners Podcast. Again, if you would like to sponsor these videos, we do have bills to be paid. We may have to buy Zoom soon. And Patreon coming soon. So
Okay.
to our book club. Because guess what? We need money.
We do.
Because groceries are expensive.
Okay, and inflation is about to skyrocket the second the bank collapsed this summer.
So inflation inflates it like you inflate your fucking head. Oh, he left. All right, goodbye, y'all.